The plasma bolt missed Commander Kale's head by inches. She didn't flinch. 3 more shots tore through the command deck of the diplomatic cruiser, and her guards dropped like stones. The Brexian boarding party poured through the breached airlock, their chitinous armor gleaming under emergency lights. "Where is your human?" the Vrexian captain hissed, mandibles clicking with barely contained rage. Kale raised her hands slowly, her violet skin darkening with controlled fear. "He's not here. This is a diplomatic vessel. Liar!" The captain's weapon pressed against her temple. "We tracked him to this sector, the human who slaughtered our colony fleet. Your husband. 2 months ago, she'd agreed to the marriage, a political arrangement between Earth and the Therian Confederacy. She'd expected some soft bureaucrat, maybe a retired officer with a desk job. Instead, they'd sent Marcus Webb. Quiet, unremarkable. He smiled when she stumbled through her vows in broken English. The Vrexians had broken the ceasefire 6 days later, attacked a mining station, killed 4,000 civilians. Marcus had asked permission to respond. She denied it. Diplomacy first, she'd insisted. War second. He'd left anyway. The reports came in waves. A Vrexian destroyer gone. Then 2 more. Then an entire battle group. 27 ships reduced to debris in under 40 hours. No backup. No fleet support. Just Marcus Webb and whatever he'd taken from Earth's armory. "He's a war criminal," the Vrexian captain snarled. "And you'll pay for his crimes." The ship lurched. Alarm screamed. The Vrexian captain's eyes widened, his communicator erupting with panicked chittering. "Impossible," he whispered. "We brought 60 ships." The deck shuddered again, harder. Kale heard explosions rippling through the Vrexian formation outside, one after another, rhythmic, methodical. 58, she said quietly. The captain's head snapped toward her. "You brought 60 ships," Kale continued, her fear evaporating. "Now you have 58. In about 3 minutes, you'll have none. One human can't." The airlock exploded inward. "Not breached. Destroyed." The Vrexian soldiers raised their weapons, but the figure moving through the smoke was already firing. Kale counted 6 shots. 6 bodies. The weapon in his hands didn't look like anything she recognized. The energy signature was wrong. Too hot. Too focused. Marcus Webb stepped into the light, his armor scorched and dented. Blood ran down his face from a gash above his eye. He looked at the Vrexian captain, then at Kale. "Sorry I'm late," he said. "Traffic was murder." The Vrexian captain fired. Marcus didn't dodge. The bolt hit his chest plate and dissipated into nothing. "Your turn," Marcus said. Part 2. The Vrexian captain's weapon clattered to the floor. Marcus didn't shoot him. He simply walked forward, each step deliberate, and the captain retreated until his back hit the bulkhead. "You brought 60 warships to kill my wife," Marcus said. His voice carried no anger, just fact. "Bad choice." Outside the viewport, another Vrexian cruiser split apart in a bloom of white fire. Kale watched the debris scatter, her mind struggling to process what she was seeing. The human fleet protocols she'd studied spoke of coordinated strikes, carrier groups, overwhelming firepower through numbers. This wasn't that. This was surgical, personal. "What are you?" the Vrexian captain wheezed. Marcus reached past him and tapped the communication panel. "Captain Webb to remaining Vrexian forces. You have 2 minutes to begin jump calculations. After that, I stop being polite." The communicator erupted with angry chittering. Threats, promises of vengeance. Marcus checked his wrist display and nodded. 1 minute 50 seconds. Kale finally found her voice. "Marcus, what did you do?" He glanced at her, and for a moment she saw something flicker in his eyes. Regret, maybe. or exhaustion. My job. Your job was to help me negotiate peace. They killed 4,000 people on Station Meridian. Peace was already dead. He turned back to the viewport as 3 more Vrexian ships erupted into flames. I just made sure they understood the cost of breaking it. The Brexian captain lunged. Kael barely saw Marcus move. One moment the alien was airborne, mandibles spread wide. The next he was on the deck, Marcus's boot on his throat, weapon aimed at his head. "Don't," Marcus said quietly. Kael stepped forward. "Let him go. He tried to kill you, and you've killed thousands of his people. Let him go, Marcus. That's an order." Something in his expression shifted. He stepped back, lowering his weapon. The Brexian captain scrambled away, gasping. Marcus tapped his wrist display. "Timer's up." The remaining Brexian ships began jumping. One by one, reality tore open and swallowed them. Within 30 seconds, the entire fleet had vanished except for the boarding vessels still clamped to Kael's cruiser. "Go," Marcus told the captain. "Tell your Hive Council what happened here. Tell them what it cost to threaten Earth's allies." The Vrexians stared at him with compound eyes that held something Kael had never seen in their species before. Pure primal fear. He ran. As the boarding ship detached and jumped away, Kael rounded on Marcus. "What did you bring? What kind of weapon system can one person use to destroy an entire fleet?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked to her command chair and sat down heavily, wincing. The gash on his head was worse than she'd thought. His armor had taken dozens of hits. He looked like he'd been fighting for days. "Earth sent me here as a gesture of goodwill," he finally said, "a symbolic union between our species. But they also sent me because they knew this might happen. The Vrexians have been testing boundaries for years. Someone had to draw a line." "By yourself?" "Against 60 warships? 47, actually. I already destroyed 13 before they reached this sector." He pulled off his helmet, revealing short, dark hair matted with sweat and blood. "The ship I came in isn't a transport, Kael. It's a weapons platform, experimental, designed for single-operator deep strike missions. Earth calls it the Reaper Protocol." Kael felt her stomach tighten. "You're telling me Earth has more of these? More soldiers like you?" "No." Marcus met her eyes. "I'm telling you, Earth has thousands of these, and millions of soldiers like me. We don't start wars, Commander. We don't want them. But when someone else starts one," he gestured to the debris field outside, "we finish them." The implications crashed over her like a wave. The Therian Confederacy had allied with Earth, believing humans were a young species, technologically inferior, useful for their resources and strategic position, but ultimately minor players in galactic politics. They'd been catastrophically wrong. "Why didn't you tell us?" she whispered. "Because you needed to see it to believe it. Every species does." Marcus stood, swaying slightly. "Your people aren't the first we've allied with, Kael. Won't be the last. But Earth's policy is simple. Attack our allies. You attack us. And we don't negotiate with people who murder civilians." An alert chimed. Kael's communications officer, Lieutenant Vorn, stumbled onto the bridge, his face pale. "Commander, we're receiving transmission from the Confederacy High Council. They're demanding an immediate explanation for the destruction of the Vrexian fleet." Kael looked at Marcus, then back at Vorn. "Tell them the truth. Tell them humanity just saved our species from a war we couldn't win." Marcus smiled grimly. "Not yet, anyway." Part 3. The High Council chamber materialized around them in flickering holographic light. 12 species, represented by their most senior diplomats, stared down at Kael and Marcus from elevated platforms. She recognized the cold fury in their eyes. They didn't want explanations. They wanted someone to blame. Chancellor Vorian of the Therian Confederacy spoke first. His forearms crossed in a gesture of condemnation. Commander Kale, you were sent to establish peaceful relations with Earth. Instead, we have a massacre, 60 Vrexian warships destroyed. Estimated casualties exceed 40,000. They fired first, Kale said. They boarded my vessel with intent to execute me. And one human responded by annihilating an entire battle fleet. Borean's voice dripped with disgust. This is not defense. This is genocide. Marcus stepped forward. The holographic council members recoiled slightly. Good, Kale thought. Let them be afraid. With respect, Chancellor, you don't understand human warfare. Marcus clasped his hands behind his back. Parade rest. We gave the Vrexians 2 options. Leave or die. 47 chose to leave. 13 chose death. That's not genocide. That's consequence. A Krillian ambassador, her crystalline features sharp as knives, leaned forward. You speak of consequence as though you have authority to enforce it. Earth is a newcomer to the Galactic Assembly. You have no fleets in our space, no armies garrisoning our worlds. What gives you the right? The alliance treaty you signed 3 months ago? Marcus pulled up a document on his wrist display, projecting it for all to see. Article 7, Section 3. Any attack on Allied vessels constitutes an act of war against all treaty members. The Brexians attacked my wife's ship. That makes it my fight. One ship does not justify this level of force, Borean snapped. You're right. Marcus tapped his display again. New images appeared. Station Meridian, burning. Bodies floating in the void. Children among them. 4,000 civilians on Meridian Station didn't justify it either. But the Vrexians did it anyway. I just made sure they understood the price. The chamber fell silent. Kale watched the council members exchange glances. They were calculating, weighing options. Earth was too dangerous to fight, but too valuable to exile. They needed a middle ground. The Vrexian Hive ambassador finally spoke, his voice a rasping hiss through the translator. Humanity has revealed itself as a threat to galactic stability. We demand sanctions, reparations, and the immediate surrender of Marcus Webb for trial. Marcus laughed, actually laughed. The sound echoed through the chamber like a gunshot. You attacked a diplomatic vessel, he said, murdered thousands of innocent people, and now you want me put on trial? Here's my counteroffer. You withdraw all Vrexian forces from contested space, pay reparations to the families of Meridian Station, and publicly acknowledge your war crimes, or I come back and finish what I started. The Hive ambassador's mandibles spread wide in rage. You dare threaten the Vrexian collective? We have 10,000 warships, colonies on 70 worlds. You are one man. I'm one man who just destroyed 13% of your fleet in under 2 days. Marcus's expression hardened. Want to see what I can do with a week? Kale grabbed his arm. Marcus, stop. He looked at her, and she saw the exhaustion behind his eyes. The weight of what he'd done. He wasn't enjoying this. He was surviving it. Chancellor Vorian raised one hand. Enough. This council will not be party to further bloodshed. We propose a compromise. Earth will pay reparations to the Vrexian collective for the destroyed vessels. In exchange, the Vrexians will withdraw their claim for Marcus Webb's arrest and acknowledge the initial aggression at Meridian Station. No. Marcus said it so simply that it took a moment for the word to register. Excuse me? Vorian's voice went dangerously quiet. Earth doesn't pay for defending itself. Or its allies. Marcus stepped closer to the holographic projection, his image towering over the council. Here's what's going to happen. The Phyrexians withdraw from all contested territories within 72 hours. They pay full reparations to Meridian families, and they issue a formal apology to the Galactic Assembly for breaking the ceasefire. If they refuse, I go to their homeworld, and I don't stop until their hive queen is ash. The chamber erupted. Ambassadors shouted over each other, their translators creating a cacophony of rage and fear. But beneath it all, Kale heard something else: uncertainty. These were species accustomed to negotiation, to political maneuvering, to wars fought over years through proxy conflicts. Marcus was offering them something they'd never encountered before: total war. Immediate. Personal. Unstoppable. The Hive ambassador's voice cut through the noise. You would slaughter billions for pride? No. Marcus's voice dropped to almost a whisper, but somehow everyone heard it. I'd do it for 4,000 people who died screaming in the void while your ships watched and did nothing. I'd do it because Earth doesn't forget. We don't forgive. And we sure as hell don't back down when someone murders our friends. A new voice entered the chamber. Smooth. Female. Commanding. Perhaps I can clarify Earth's position. The hologram of Admiral Catherine Ross materialized beside Marcus. She wore the full-dress uniform of Earth's Defense Command, medals covering her chest. Kyle recognized some of them from her research. The Mars Campaign, the Titan Rebellion, the Europa Massacre. Ross had been fighting wars since before most of these species had discovered faster-than-light travel. Members of the Galactic Assembly, Ross began. Captain Webb acted within the parameters of his mission and Earth's defensive doctrine. However, his methods may have been more aggressive than necessary. Earth is willing to accept a negotiated settlement provided certain conditions are met. The council members leaned forward, eager for de-escalation. Ross smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. The Phyrexian Collective will withdraw all military forces from the border zones. They will pay triple reparations to Meridian families, and they will cede their mining operations in the Kepler sector to joint Earth-Tarian oversight. In exchange, Captain Webb will stand down, and Earth will guarantee no further offensive action. Triple reparations? The Hive ambassador's voice rose an octave. The Kepler sector? Those demands are absurd. Then refuse them, Ross said simply. Captain Webb is one of 73 Reaper Protocol operators currently deployed across known space. If you'd like to meet the others, please continue your aggression. If you'd prefer to salvage what's left of your fleet and your dignity, accept our terms. 73. Kyle's blood went cold. 73 soldiers like Marcus, scattered across the galaxy, each one capable of destroying fleets alone. Earth hadn't joined the Galactic Assembly seeking friendship. They'd joined it to establish dominance. Part 4. The council chamber descended into chaos. Ambassadors screamed at each other across holographic displays, their translators struggling to keep pace. Chancellor Vorian's forearms gestured wildly as he argued with the Krillian representative. The Hive ambassador sat frozen, compound eyes fixed on Admiral Ross. Kyle felt Marcus sway beside her. She caught his arm, steadying him. Up close, she could see the toll the battle had taken. His pupils were dilated unevenly, concussion, probably. The blood from his head wound had dried in dark streaks down his neck. You need medical attention, she whispered. I need to finish this, he replied, but his voice lacked conviction. Admiral Ross continued speaking, her tone never changing from professional courtesy. Earth understands this is a difficult decision. We'll give the Phyrexian Collective 6 hours to respond. Until then, Captain Webb will remain with Commander Cayley aboard her vessel. Any attempt to seize him will be considered an act of war." The hologram winked out. The council chamber dissolved around them, leaving Kael and Marcus standing in her ship's communication bay. Lieutenant Vorn stared at them from the doorway, his expression somewhere between awe and terror. "Get medical up here now," Kael ordered, "and seal this deck. No one enters without my authorization." Vorn nodded and disappeared. Marcus stumbled to the nearest chair and dropped into it. "That went well." "Well?" Kael rounded on him. "You just threatened to commit planetary genocide in front of the entire Galactic Assembly. You've made Earth look like monsters. Earth doesn't care how we look. We care about results." He closed his eyes, wincing. 4,000 people, Kal-El. They were miners, scientists, families. The Rexians killed them to make a point about territorial disputes. Someone had to make a bigger point. By killing 40,000? 47,326. His eyes opened, meeting hers. "I know exactly how many. I counted every ship, every crew manifest. I'll remember every single one for the rest of my life. But I'd do it again tomorrow if it meant preventing another meridian." Kael sat down across from him. 2 months ago, she'd married this man in a ceremony she barely understood, speaking vows in a language that still felt foreign on her tongue. She'd thought him gentle, kind. He'd learned phrases in her native dialect, brought her tea when she worked late, never demanded anything. She'd been living with a weapon pretending to be a person. "Why did they really send you?" she asked quietly. "Not the official reason, the real one." Marcus was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice carried a weight she hadn't heard before. 20 years ago, the Brexians encountered a human colony ship, the Perseverance. It was a civilian vessel carrying 15,000 people to a new world outside assembly space. The Vrexians destroyed it, claimed it violated their territory. Earth wasn't strong enough to respond then. We had to swallow it, negotiate, accept their apologies and promises it wouldn't happen again. He opened his eyes. "But Earth never forgets, Kael. We built the Reaper Protocol specifically for the Vrexians. Trained operators for 2 decades. Developed weapons that could crack their armor, shields that could withstand their plasma fire. We allied with the Therian Confederacy because we knew the Vrexians would eventually push too far. And when they did, we'd be ready." The medical team arrived. A Therian doctor with practiced hands began scanning Marcus, her expression growing increasingly concerned. "Commander, this human has 3 fractured ribs, a grade 2 concussion, severe radiation burns, and internal bleeding. He should be unconscious." "Yet here I am," Marcus said. The doctor injected him with something. He grimaced but didn't pull away. "Human physiology is remarkable, but not invincible. You need surgery. Now, after the Vrexians respond. You could die. Then I'll die having finished my mission." Marcus looked at Kael. "Your people need to understand something. Humans are stubborn. We're aggressive. We hold grudges. But we're also loyal. When we make alliances, we mean them. The Vrexians attacked you to test Earth's commitment. I gave them my answer." An alert chimed. Lieutenant Vorn's voice came through the comm system, shaking. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the Vrexian homeworld. It's the Hive Queen herself." Kael and Marcus exchanged glances. In 300 years of Vrexian contact with other species, the Hive Queen had never spoken directly to outsiders. She ruled through ambassadors and generals, a distant figure of absolute authority. "Put her through," Kael ordered. "Bo!" The holographic display activated. The Hive Queen was massive, easily 3 times the size of a normal Vrexian. Her carapace gleamed with intricate patterns that denoted age and power. Dozens of attendants surrounded her, but she waved them back with one clawed limb. When she spoke, her voice bypassed the translator entirely. She spoke in perfect English. "Marcus Webb, I watched you destroy my fleets. I saw your ship dance through weapons fire that should have vaporized you. I observed as you calculated firing solutions that my best tacticians claimed were impossible." Her mandibles clicked in what might have been respect. "Humanity is not what we believed." "No," Marcus agreed, "we're not." "The perseverance haunts you." He stiffened. "You remember it? I ordered its destruction personally. A mistake. I now understand. Your species does not process loss the way ours does. You let it fester, transform into something dangerous." The Hive Queen leaned forward. "I accept Earth's terms. Full withdrawal, triple reparations, the Kepler sector mining rights, all of it." "Just like that?" Kale couldn't keep the surprise from her voice. "Just like that." The Hive Queen's eyes fixed on her. "Because if I refuse, Marcus Webb will come to my world, and he will kill me. Not because his superiors order it, not because Earth commands it, but because he personally wants revenge for 15,000 humans who died 2 decades ago. That kind of dedication is terrifying, Commander Kale. Your husband is not fighting for politics or territory. He's fighting for memory, for justice, for a debt he believes is owed." She turned back to Marcus. "I cannot defeat that. No one can. So I surrender, human. You have won. The Vrexian Collective will honor the ceasefire. We will pay what we owe, and we will never again underestimate your species." The hologram flickered out. The medical bay fell silent. Even the doctor had stopped working, staring at the empty space where the Hive Queen had been. Marcus slumped in his chair, the tension finally leaving his body. "Good," he whispered. "That's good." Then he passed out. The doctor lunged forward, scanners flashing urgent red. "Get him to surgery now." As the medical team rushed Marcus away on an anti-grav stretcher, Kale stood alone in the communication bay. Outside the viewport, the debris field from the battle drifted silently. Evidence of one man's war, her husband's war. She touched the marriage bracelet on her wrist, the one Marcus had given her during the ceremony. It felt heavier now. Lieutenant Thorne appeared at her side. "Commander, what do we do now?" Kale watched Marcus's unconscious form disappear down the corridor. Now we make sure he survives, because Earth just showed the entire galaxy what happens when you threaten their allies. And I have a feeling this is only the beginning. Part 5. Marcus woke to the sound of arguments. Therian voices raised and angry just beyond the medical bay door. He tried to sit up and immediately regretted it. Pain lanced through his ribs, sharp enough to make his vision blur. "Stay down, you stubborn fool!" The Therian doctor appeared beside him, pressing him back against the bed. "The surgery went well, but your body needs time to heal. Even human bodies. How long was I out? 14 hours. The Vrexians have already begun their withdrawal from contested space. The galactic news networks are calling it the Meridian Accord." She paused, adjusting his IV. "They're also calling you the Devil of Earth, the Reaper, the Ghost Fleet Killer. You're famous, Captain Webb. Or infamous, depending on who you ask." The door hissed open. Kale stormed in, her violet skin flushed darker with frustration. 3 Therian military officers followed her, their expressions hostile. "He's awake," one of them said. "Good. We have questions." "General Court, he just had surgery," Kale protested. "And he just destabilized the entire political structure of the Assembly." Court moved to Marcus's bedside, looming over him. "Do you have any idea what you've done? The balance of power that took centuries to establish is collapsing. Species are choosing sides. The Krylians are demanding Earth reveal all military capabilities. The Nexari want a non-aggression pact immediately. 3 minor species have applied for formal alliances with Earth in the past 6 hours alone. Marcus met his gaze steadily. Sounds like diplomacy is working. This isn't diplomacy. It's extortion through force. No. Marcus pushed himself up despite the doctor's protests. Extortion is what the Vrexians did, threatening civilian stations to claim territory. What I did was demonstrate that Earth protects its allies. There's a difference. Another officer stepped forward, younger with calculating eyes. Our intelligence services have been analyzing your ship, the Reaper Protocol platform. The weapon signatures don't match anything in Earth's registered arsenal. How long has your species been developing military technology in secret? Since before we met any of you. Marcus didn't blink. Earth's first contact with alien life happened 41 years ago. We spent the first 10 years observing, learning, understanding that this galaxy operates on strength, not kindness. So we built strength. While pretending to be weak, Court accused. While being underestimated, Marcus corrected. You all assumed we were primitives because we lacked formal fleet doctrine, because our territories were small, because we smiled and signed treaties without demanding much in return. But Earth was playing a longer game. Kale moved between Marcus and the officers. That's enough. He's answered your questions. Now leave. Commander, you're married to this man. Your judgment is compromised. My judgment is fine, General. Yours is what concerns me. You're angry because Earth outmaneuvered the Confederacy, because we allied with a species more dangerous than we realized. But that danger just saved us from a war with the Vrexians that would have cost millions of lives. So yes, I'm married to him, and I'm grateful for it. The officers exchanged glances. Court's jaw tightened. The High Council wants him gone, off this ship, out of Confederacy space. Then they can make that request formally, Kale said. Until then, he stays. Court leaned close to her, lowering his voice. You're choosing him over your own people. I'm choosing not to punish someone for winning a battle we were too afraid to fight ourselves. The officers left, their displeasure radiating like heat. When the door sealed behind them, Kale's shoulders sagged. She pulled up a chair beside Marcus's bed and sat heavily. This is getting complicated, she said. It was always going to be complicated. Marcus touched her hand. Political marriages usually are. This wasn't supposed to be real. It was supposed to be symbolic, a gesture. We'd attend a few functions together, make some joint statements, and eventually drift apart with dignity intact. She looked at him. But you made it real. You bled for my people, killed for them. That changes everything. Does it change how you feel about me? The question hung between them. Kale studied his face, searching for something. I don't know what I feel. 2 months ago, you were a stranger who smiled too much and couldn't pronounce my name correctly. Now you're someone who threatened to burn a planet for me. Who actually might have done it? I would have. No hesitation. The Hive Queen knew it too. That's why she surrendered. That doesn't scare you, being capable of that? Marcus was quiet for a moment. It terrifies me. Every time I climb into that ship, every time I calculate a firing solution, I know I'm about to end lives. Thousands of them. But someone has to do it, Kale. Someone has to be willing to make the hard choices when civilians are dying. An alert chimed. Kale's communicator lit up with an urgent message. Her eyes widened as she read it. The Nexari Empire just declared war on the Krylian hegemony. They're claiming the Krylians violated their border during fleet repositioning. Admiral Ross is requesting your immediate deployment. Marcus was already moving, swinging his legs off the bed despite the pain. The doctor rushed over, scanners protesting. You can't fight. Your body hasn't healed. Then give me something that makes it heal faster. He looked at KL. Where do they need me? The Nexari Third Fleet is moving on Krillian colony worlds. 3 planets. Combined population of 800 million. If they're not stopped, it'll be a massacre. Marcus grabbed his armor from the storage locker. Tell Ross I'll be there in 4 hours. Marcus, the Nexari have 200 warships in that fleet. Even you can't fight that many. He smiled grimly as he sealed his chest plate. Watch me. KL caught his arm before he could leave. This is insane. You're one person. You can't police the entire galaxy every time someone starts a war. I'm not one person. Remember what Ross said? 73 operators. He pulled up his wrist display, showing her a tactical map. Small red icons scattered across known space, each one marking another Reaper protocol platform. We're already moving. The Nexari are about to learn the same lesson the Vrexians did. You don't start wars when Earth's allies are involved.
And when you run out of enemies to fight?
When every species is too terrified to even breathe wrong, what then? Marcus paused at the door. Then maybe, finally, there'll be peace. Real peace. Not the kind built on politics and treaties, but the kind built on mutual understanding that the cost of war is too high. He looked back at her. Isn't that what you wanted when you agreed to marry me? Peace, not like this. Peace is never pretty, KL. It's not conferences and handshakes. It's the moment when everyone realizes that fighting costs more than cooperating. I'm just helping them realize it faster. He left before she could respond. The doctor approached Kyle, her scanner still in hand. His internal injuries are severe. If he fights again in this condition, he could die. Kale stared at the closed door. I don't think that matters to him. He's already made peace with death. The question is whether the rest of us can make peace with what he's becoming. Outside the viewport, she saw his ship detached from the cruiser, the Reaper Protocol platform, small, angular, bristling with weapons that shouldn't exist. It accelerated to impossible speeds and vanished into a jump point. One man racing toward another war. Her husband becoming a legend the galaxy would fear for generations. Part 6. The Nexari Third Fleet died in 11 minutes. Kale watched the combat footage with the rest of the Confederacy High Command, their expressions frozen in disbelief. Marcus's ship moved through the Nexari formation like a surgeon's blade, each shot precise, each maneuver calculated to perfection. 200 warships became debris. Not a single escape pod launched. The Nexari commander broadcast surrender 7 minutes in. Marcus ignored it. When the firing stopped, only silence remained. Chancellor Vorian turned off the display. He's gone too far. He saved 800 million lives, Kale said quietly. He's becoming what we feared most, an unstoppable force answering to no authority but his own. Vorian's forearms gestured helplessly. The other Reaper operators are following his example. Earth has crushed 4 conflicts in the past week alone. Species are surrendering before battles even begin. This isn't peace, Commander. This is tyranny. It's survival. Admiral Ross's hologram materialized in the chamber. The galaxy was a powder keg waiting to explode. We just removed the spark. By becoming the explosion yourselves, the Krillian ambassador's crystalline features reflected the cold lights. Earth has revealed its true nature, conquerors hiding behind noble intentions. Ross's expression hardened. We haven't claimed a single world, haven't demanded tribute or territory. We've simply enforced the treaties you all signed and then ignored when convenient. If that makes us conquerors, then you're all cowards." The chamber erupted in protests. Kyle closed her eyes, exhaustion washing over her. Somewhere out there, Marcus was flying toward another crisis, another war, another chance to prove Earth's dominance. She'd married him to secure peace. Instead, she'd married the man who would terrify the galaxy into submission. Her communicator buzzed. A private message from Marcus. "Medical Bay, my ship, come alone." She shouldn't go. Protocol demanded she remain for the council session, but she left anyway, ignoring Vorian's protests. Marcus's Reaper platform hung in space near her cruiser, its hull scorched and pitted from the Nexari engagement. She took a shuttle across, her heart pounding. The medical bay was dark except for emergency lighting. Marcus sat on an examination table, his armor removed, bandages covering fresh wounds layered over surgical scars. He looked up when she entered. "I'm resigning," he said. Kale stopped.
What?
"From active duty, from the Reaper protocol, all of it." He stood, wincing. "I just transmitted my report to Earth Command. The Nexari are broken. The Vrexians are compliant. Every species with territorial ambitions now understands the cost. My mission is complete. Your mission was to establish peaceful relations through marriage." "No, that was the cover story." He met her eyes. "My real mission was to demonstrate overwhelming force, to make Earth so terrifying that no one would dare threaten our allies again. I've done that. Now I'm done." Kale moved closer. "You can't just walk away. Earth needs you. The galaxy needs you. The galaxy needs to learn to solve its own problems without Earth holding a gun to its head." He touched her face gently. "And I need to figure out if I'm still human or if I've become just another weapon." "You're human, Marcus. A terrifying, frustrating, impossible human, but still human." He smiled, sad and tired. "Then help me remember what that means. Help me be your husband instead of Earth's executioner." Outside, the stars turned slowly. Somewhere another Reaper operator was deploying to another crisis. The cycle would continue. But Marcus was choosing to step away from it. "What happens now?" Kale asked. "Now we go home. To your world or mine, I don't care. We figure out what our marriage actually means when it's not buried under politics and warfare." He pulled her close. "I destroyed armies for you, Kale. Let me try building something instead." She kissed him. Not the ceremonial kiss from their wedding, but something real. Something that tasted like hope and second chances. When they pulled apart, she smiled. "Earth's going to hate losing you. Earth has 72 other operators. They'll manage." He collected his armor. "Besides, they got what they wanted. The galaxy knows humanity doesn't bluff. That's worth more than one soldier." They left the Reaper platform behind, transferring to Kale's cruiser. As the shuttle departed, Marcus watched his ship through the viewport. The weapon that had killed thousands. The machine that had made him a legend. "No regrets?" Kale asked. "Only one." He turned to her. "That it took a war to make our marriage real." She took his hand. "Then let's make peace matter just as much." The shuttle docked. They walked through the corridors together, husband and wife. No longer symbols or weapons or political tools. Just two people trying to find something worth fighting for beyond the battlefield. Behind them, the galaxy trembled with new understanding. Earth had shown its teeth. The Reaper Protocol had proven humanity's reach. And Marcus Webb, the Devil of Earth, had vanished into legend. But in the quiet spaces between wars, in the moments when fear faded into grudging respect, the galaxy began to change. Treaties held not from diplomacy but from memory. Conflicts ended before they began, and slowly, impossibly, peace took root. Not the peace Kale had imagined when she'd agreed to marry a stranger. Something harder, something earned in blood and fear and overwhelming force, but peace nonetheless. And in a small quarters aboard a Therian diplomatic cruiser, two people learned to build a life together, their past written in starship wreckage, their future unwritten, and finally wonderfully their own.